until the Iranians hit a warehouse that had all of our weapons in it, and it's gone. And
Yeah, I saw that.
the price tag associated with those weapons going up is, if not hundreds of millions, maybe billions of dollars. Um,
One of the biggest things that is getting missed and is overlooked by analysts in this war is that silver and copper are running out. And this is the biggest news story after Iran's hit another CIA base or something like that, is that Trump orders defense companies to increase production or face sanctions. It's all about the increased production of these facilities, these base stations, computer systems, guidance systems, radar systems, and the missiles, of course. Now, I remember years ago, the news reports were coming out from both Russia's side and Ukraine's side that they're running out of missiles. So we kept hearing the BBC, Russia's running out of missiles, Russia's running out of missiles. But of course, they massively increased production. The news reports were saying Ukraine warning it could run out of air defense missiles. For every one missile that comes over, they need several or tens of anti-missile defense missiles. And NATO were frantically going into mass production, increased production at a faster and faster rate to resupply Ukraine for years. And Russia and their allies massively increased production of all these missiles, increased production, using up the last of the silver and the copper. And this was back in 2022, 2023. Early reports, Russia was running low on precision missiles. Western intelligence reportedly, widely, BBC and others said, Russia had used large share of its precision missile stockpiles in the first months of the war. It began using older missiles designed for ships or aircraft to hit the ground targets. For example, Russia used the Kh-22 anti-ship missiles against land targets, which are inaccurate and normally not into that role. This was interpreted, analysts, as a sign that their more advanced missiles were being depleted. But then they massively ramped up production, using up loads of silver and copper. Russia later rebuilt missile production, and they're now going into overdrive, speed up production. Don't care about using up silver and copper, just make more missiles. Russia's increasing manufacturing. Everyone's increasing manufacturing. Europe, Asia, they're increasing production of these missiles. Early war reports, BBC really said this a lot. I remember loads of times the BBC was saying, Russia's running out of missiles, Ukraine's running out of missiles, but don't worry, they're increasing the production. Russia rapidly depleted precision missile stocks. Ukraine warned it could run out of air defense missiles. Russia later expanded production to rebuild inventories. And NATO as well has rapidly expanded production, using up the last of the silver and the copper to rebuild inventories. Modern wars can burn through missiles. Last few days, there's thousands of missiles, whether it's drones, manned aircraft or unmanned aircraft. Thousands of missiles every day. Both sides have been shooting back and forth, the Israelis and the Iranians. They're both burning up so many missiles, much faster than countries can rebuild them. But they're going to ramp up production now. All this effort now is going into ramping up production, using up loads of silver and copper to rebuild inventories. Countries are now massively expanding missile factories. Because of the Ukraine war, many countries are increasing production. So the US is rapidly, and Trump is saying, you have to go faster, make more missiles and drones faster, or you'll have more sanctions and threats, and you've got to increase production faster. Russia is telling all their to increase production. China, of course, is making loads of missiles, and of course, Iran and China are best friends. Iran are letting any ships to do with China are allowed through the Straits of Hormuz. Anything that China wants, yeah, you can get it, because they're making they're going to resupply all their stockpiles. Thousands of missiles every day are getting burned up. And of course, Europe, it's the weapons manufacturers in Europe, increase production, use up all that silver and copper. Factories are expanding to produce cruise missiles, interceptor missiles, hypersonic weapons, long-range drones. The goal is to avoid future shortages. They've got to massively increase production, burning up the last of the silver and copper. This is just the missiles we're talking about. But what about the infrastructure to guide them? All the computer systems, I call them little data centers, but let's just call them computer systems infrastructure. That's what's getting targeted. That's what keeps getting blown up on both sides. Israel are blowing up the Iranian computer systems, and Iran is blowing up the Israeli and the American computer systems. They need to be replaced. Go into massive production to restock all these computer systems that keep getting targeted. So shortages can happen even if these metals, the copper and the silver, they're on the earth, but they're all getting blown up every day. But they're running out of metal. The earth, it doesn't mean the earth has got none left. There's still loads of copper and silver on earth. It's all still there. It's just not available. It means mines cannot produce fast enough. Ore grades are declining. This is true both silver and copper. Ore grades are declining, which means for every ton of ore that comes out, there's less percentage of silver or copper in that they're trying to get out. New mines can take decades to open. Even if they discover a new big silver or copper deposit, it can take 10 to 20 years from discovery to actually producing. Demand is growing faster than supply for both silver and copper. So the real risk is price spikes and supply bottlenecks, not total disappearance. I know that silver and copper will never be extinct on planet Earth, but they can be extinct in industrial quantities in available supplies. And that's what's needed for making the computer systems and the missiles and drones. The military demand factor, military production can worsen shortages because weapons production ramps up suddenly. And that's what's happening now. Absolutely fast trying to restock stockpiles of these missiles and systems, computer systems. Metals go into systems that are destroyed, not recycled. Yeah, they can't get that silver back. It's blown up. Supply chains become strategic. That's what we're going to see. And silver ore grades are declining. Over the last century, the amount of silver in ore has fallen dramatically. 1800s mines, sometimes 1,000 plus grams per ton. Many modern mines, 100 to 200 grams per ton or less. And I hear some, it's like 50 grams per ton now. Lower ore grade means more rock must be mined, more energy to get this smaller amount of silver, more energy and water required, higher costs. Silver gets used in tiny amounts. Unlike gold, silver is usually used in very, very small quantities, smaller than a full stop in a book. Electronics, solar panels, sensors. And this final story, Iran hits 1 billion US radar, takes out 3 THAAD systems and attacks. This is happening every day now. All those systems need to be replaced. That silver and copper is getting used up. And this one here is massive, that Trump orders defense companies to increase production.
What happens to the region?
Well, it gets even better than that, though, Stan, because what Trump is saying is we have ammunition everywhere. But what he really meant to say is the last remaining top-tier ammunition that we have is in South Korea, Japan, and the Pacific. And so we're going to be taking that ammunition and bringing it into theater. Now, the United Arab Emirates is there, the good, loyal American friend, and they bought $2 billion worth of anti-ballistic missile capacity, which they've expended now in 3 days. Yeah. And they're saying we need to re-up. We got those launchers, but we got no missiles. We need to re-up. And the United States is saying, we're not taking that phone call.
Why didn't anyone see this coming? That's what's going to be said. We've got to restock all our military hardware that keeps getting blown up and used up. Silver and copper are getting used up. Why didn't anybody see this coming? Some of us did see this coming, and we think we can save lives by taking the last of the silver and the copper out of available supply. This will actually save lives. They're going to run out of silver and copper. The mass production now of military hardware that's going into overdrive, got to restock as fast as possible. They're not going to be thrifting. Thrifting is a word that, if you're careful and you've got time for making any kind of manufacturing that uses lots of silver and copper, they think, look, we're running out of silver and copper, even though the price is manipulated, suppressed. So the price is very low. We can buy a lot very cheap, but we're running out. It's just not there. There's waiting lists. Supply's getting very tight. So they try and do thrifting. Let's try and use less silver and copper. And they're trying to do that. with these solid state batteries, because they can easily make solid state batteries that require 1 kilo of silver per application for like a normal sized car. 1 kilo of silver per car. Millions or hundreds of millions of cars going to be made over the next few years. There's just not enough silver there, so they've got to thrift it. It takes time. When it comes to military, restocking military hardware, both the computer systems and all the infrastructure for guidance and anti-aircraft defense systems, radars, laser targeting, they can't be thrifting. All these systems are getting targeted and blown up. That's what on both sides, on all sides, that's what's being targeted. The military hardware, military bases, they're getting targeted, blown up. We need to replace that. They can't be thrifting. Oh, let's try and use less silver and copper. They just need to build it quick. And Trump has ordered increase production, increase manufacturing speed. They can't be thrifting. If they're just desperately trying to replace all that hardware, they can't be thrifting. They just use up more silver and copper than they need to. They've just got to, no matter what the cost, it's got to be the best. When it comes to military, they just got to produce it quickly and high quality. It'll probably be blown up again soon. They've got to replace it again, using up more silver and copper. These technologies cannot be made without silver and copper. They cannot be replaced without using silver and copper. There is no replacement. Silver is the most electrically conductive, the most heat thermally conductive for shielding. It's the most reflective for the laser guidance and the most acoustically element on the periodic table. Copper is second. Copper is second on pretty much all these things. There's a few exceptions. There might be something else almost as good as copper in some of these applications, but copper is one of the, let's just say one of the second best at electrically conductive, thermally conductive, reflective, things like that. Gold is not really used as much. A little bit, there's a tiny bit of gold used in some of these systems, but nowhere near like the silver and the copper. All the application needed is loads of silver. And when it comes to military, it's not the same as civilian infrastructure, civilian manufacturing. We can thrift that, try and use less. Military has to be such high standard, high quality, and now very high speed in production. Rushed, really. They are rushing to produce so much military hardware because it's all getting used up. That's been the case for years before this Middle Eastern war, or some people are calling it the West Asian war. I don't know what area. I just call it the Middle Eastern war. But it's spreading all around the world, isn't it? And increasing. More countries are getting involved, more areas. It's going to require so much silver and copper. And I'm predicting that people are going to start saying, why didn't anybody see this coming? Why didn't anybody see the shortages of silver and copper developing? Why didn't we see it coming? Some of us are seeing it coming, and we're saying the best way you can save lives is to keep taking silver and copper out of available supply. I'm a very small time person. You might think, oh, it's not going to make any difference. I just take a little tiny bit. Somebody who's like a very menial job, a low income person, if you just take 1 or 2 ounces of silver and maybe 10 or 20 ounces of copper out of available supply every month, with your monthly income, put 10% of your monthly income into silver and copper bullion. It has to be physical. Do not buy paper or digital promises. Do not buy ETFs or any kind of paper or digital illusion of silver or copper, because that's what they want. Those who know, who do see this coming, this shortage, they don't want people buying physical, taking physical out of available supply. We need that for the military, for the war effort. Just buy a paper or digital promise, because there's no limit how many of those we can create. But those of us who are in the movement, it started by Chris Dwayne, the Silver Bullet, Silver Shield movement. We are taking physical silver and copper out of available supply on a regular basis. And a lot of us are doing this. Most of us are small net worth individuals, but there are some very large net worth individuals also involved in this movement. One example is David Bateman, the Dark Knight of Silver. He is taking billions of ounces of silver and copper out of available supply. He's a tech billionaire, and he is continuing to take silver out of available supply. He will save lives. Soon they will not be able to make such advanced weaponry that's killing all these people. Let's face facts. There are thousands of missiles every day being shot back and forth into the skies that are killing people, destroying buildings. Destroying infrastructure is not such a big deal. It's killing people, ending lives, men, women and children. And it's the women and children that are the most upsetting. All those poor girls in that girls' school. I've got 2 daughters about that age, and that girls' school they were all murdered. Teachers, staff, everybody was just murdered. I think it was hundreds of girls, wasn't it? Teenagers, or no, under teens. They were pre-teens, all murdered. They were survivors. Some survived. The unlucky ones, they were maimed, arms and legs blown off, and absolutely they're fighting for their lives now in hospital. This is horrific. It cannot be taken lightly. What can you do? Can you march? Stop the war. Stop murdering all these children. Will it do any good? I wouldn't say it won't do any good. It might do some good. It might make the people feel better. Stop the war. Stop the war. It might do some good, but it won't make any difference. The bankers, all wars are bankers' wars. The bankers aren't listening. They don't care. March all they want, as long as they pay their taxes. That's what the bankers have said. That's what the cunning men have said. Let them march all they want, as long as they pay their taxes. So what can you do? You can be a part of this movement. Keep draining the supplies of silver and copper. Keep taking silver and copper out of available supply. I'm doing it, very small time, but there's millions of us like me, and I think it's growing. This movement is growing. If you don't like these women and children getting blown up, you want to stop these horrible missiles killing people, drain the supplies of silver and copper. Keep taking silver and copper out of available supply. The people can do this. We can do this. We can keep draining the supplies so that the extreme shortages come earlier. And what will happen then? Trump is saying, let's increase production faster, faster, faster. Oh, sorry, Mr. Trump, we can't get the silver and the copper. I don't care, just get it off the people. There's going to be, once again, as there has been in the past, a confiscation attempt. We need that silver and that copper for the war effort. You have to give it to the government. And then there will be a black market. It will be illegal to buy and own silver and copper. This will drive it underground. The value of silver and copper will go sky high on the black market, but so will be the difficulty in obtaining it and using it and keeping it. This is what I predict. I predict there's going to be people saying, why didn't anybody see this coming? Why didn't anybody see the shortage of silver and copper coming? And then there's going to be a confiscation. It's illegal to buy, sell and hold silver and copper. We need it for the war effort. Please hand it over. We'll give you CBDCs for it. But the people will not hand over their silver and copper. It will go underground. There'll be a black market. The black market, or we'll call it the free market. The people will call it the free market. If you want to buy good food, goods and services for a couple of grams of silver and copper, they will have very high purchasing power. But at the moment, the suppression, the manipulation by the cunning men, the bankers, means you can buy silver and copper incredibly cheap. If you want to save lives, if you hate women and children getting blown up, what you can do is right now, today, go and take silver and copper out of available supply. Let's drain the available supplies.